guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my February mid-month wrap-up. Let's get into it. I've read quite a few books. First book that I read in the month of February was Mile High by Tomforde, and this was definitely by the recommendation of Caitlin at the Love Librarian. She was hyping this book up, and I was like, you know what? Let me hop in this and see what it's all about. I ended up giving it a 4-star rating. I absolutely loved this book. I loved Stevie. I loved Xander. I loved the hate to love relationship, the forced proximity. It was kind of like a workplace romance. It was forbidden. It was a curvy heroine with a damaged hero. It was a cocky hero. It was a turned playboy. Girl, if none of that tells you to read this book, I don't know what will. So basically we have Stevie and Xander. Xander is a hockey player. He is top of the top with his best friend. Stevie is the flight attendant working on the hockey team's plane. Xander and Stevie get off on the wrong foot because Xander thinks that she went up to him to ask for an autograph when really she's just doing her job. So she instantly is like, how arrogant can you be? Right? So instantly that hate to love is there. There's that push and pull. There's that chemistry though that they can't deny. Xander first is trying to piss her off really, and low-key I eat that up. Like, I love when the hero tries to piss off the heroine. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I think it just shows that he cares more than he's willing to say that he does. But anyways, yeah, so that's how the relationship starts. Stevie cannot have anything with Xander because she is trying to keep her job. She had also been in a past relationship that caused some trauma, and both of these characters aren't perfect. I believe that this book is more character driven than plot driven. It has to do with Stevie learning to grow out of her insecurities and Xander learning how to let go of past trauma with family, as well as Stevie also has some trauma with family as well that needs to be resolved, and it does get resolved. Everything comes together. I loved it so much. I was giggling, I was screaming, I was eating this book up. At some points I did think that the book was a little bit too long, but I also appreciated my read. I also appreciated all the scenes in here that we got. It is steamy, let me tell you. Xander, oof, what I wouldn't do to that man. It was so good. I just love the way that the characters were described. Xander is so hot. Stevie is just so hot as well. Some of Stevie's insecurities I could relate to. I think that the way that Stevie's insecurities were handled was perfect. I also loved the way that Xander uplifted Stevie. He spoiled her. He gave her praise. He literally taught her to be herself and to be unapologetically her. And I just loved it so much. I mean, Xander is a rich daddy and he spoils her. He buys her new jewelry. He buys her clothes, and he buys her clothes in so many different sizes because he doesn't want to guess her size and be wrong. So I really appreciated that. I didn't realize how much I loved that like action that he took until I was like, wow, that is just so considerate. It was just so good, guys. Like, it was so good. Like, you need to read it. I am excited to read the second book. This did not get a full 5-star for me just because, like I said, I did think it was a little bit too long, and two, I didn't really like the third act breakup. I think it could have been handled, I think the conflict could have been something else, but I also wasn't like surprised about what the conflict was. Another reason why I didn't give this a full 5 stars was because there were some parts in the book that I found slightly like corny / cringy, so that's why this didn't get a full 5-star, but it was so good regardless. I think it's definitely worth the read, and I'm so glad I picked it up. I just know that I might love the second book even better. The second book might just get a 5-star for me. That's all I'm saying. It's between Stevie's older brother and Stevie's best friend, who was also one of the flight attendants in this first book. Really truly did love Mile High by Tomforde. After Mile High, I read quite a few novellas. I started off with Haven by Claire Kent, which I ended up giving 4 stars. I think with the time that I was reading it, listen, I had been watching The Last of Us, the TV show that just came out with the apocalypse and all of that, and I had always heard Jen from the book Refuge talk about this series by Claire Kent. Jen put me onto Claire Kent, period. I did read the whole series by Claire Kent already, so I know that I love her novellas and I love her writing, so I dived into this because I was in the mood, okay? Daddy Pedro, he has me in a chokehold. Daddy Pedro TikTok, I am on it. Yep. Moving on, I read Haven. I cannot remember the hero or the heroine's name, so let's see. It is very much giving friends to lovers. Basically, there was an asteroid that hit Europe, I believe, and the effects of that hit caused literally the world to be apocalyptic. I don't really know how else I would say it. It's different times, shall we say. So our heroine and our hero own this farm that was left behind by the heroine's family, and they took in the hero when they were younger. And the heroine, I feel like she's always had a crush on him, and he was just always this grumpy kid growing up. So it's definitely giving Grumpy Sunshine Forks proximity. I mean, it's end of the world. I just really enjoyed this while I read it. They have this also like friends with benefits situation that we further along in the novella we learn about, and there's just so much like caretaking in this. There's heartbreaking moments, there is just adventure, and their connection is deep. And the way that the hero is just like taking care of the heroine and doing everything that he can to keep her safe and cared for, while the heroine is trying to build something and be something greater outside of their compound. And the way that the hero is like so insecure in the way that he's like, when will it be enough for you? Like, when will I be enough for you? And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're enough for me. I just want to do something bigger. And the way that the heroine has to teach him that he is good enough and that she is in love with him, but she needs him to love her enough to know how she wants to help other people as well. I think that was a little ranty, but I really truly loved it. It was so good, especially for a novella, and I ate it up. I gave it 4 stars. It was exactly what I needed at the time. Moving on, I did read Princess by Claire Kent. This one I actually ended up giving it 3 stars. This one I found a little bit more cringy. This one is about our heroine. She is kind of, I mean, they say that she's a princess, but she's rich and her father is rich, and her father is one of those like survivalist guys. Like, he's prepared for the end of the world, and he calls his daughter, the heroine, while she's at school, and that she's gonna get picked up by her new bodyguard, which is our hero, and he's taking her to this compound that the father built for cases like this. The heroine and the hero, it's the bodyguard romance. Honestly, this is probably like a 3.5. I'm not gonna lie, it's like more of a 3.5 than just a solid 3, just because I love me a bodyguard romance. The way that the hero protects her and is there for her and kind of has this rule where it's like hands off even when she doesn't know it. And so basically the heroine grows up in this compound, and they still haven't gone outside because they don't know how the way that the world is as of yet. And she actually ends up losing her father in the compound, so she's all alone, and she only has like her bodyguard as a companion. And she's also a swimmer. There's a pool in there, there's like a movie theater, like it's a whole like apartment style kind of underground bunker. It is just their romance and the hero learning to be okay and loving her, even though like he knew her when she was younger. I mean, she was in high school. I think the reason why this didn't get a 4-star was because some parts were cringy, and I did think that the heroine's like responses sometimes were a little bit off. I can't quite remember why. I can't quite remember a lot about this book, to be honest, now that I'm trying to think. I'm so dead, yo. It was really good though. 3.5. It's very apocalyptic bodyguard romance. It was good. I really liked it, and I do recommend. Then I ended up picking up the 3rd book in the Kindled series by Claire Kent. This one is called Embers. This one I ended up giving 4 stars. I truly love this one. This one is about our heroine. She is in a relationship with this guy, and they are trying to survive after the asteroid hit. Again, same premise. It's like different versions of people's lives and their romances. So the guy's mom dies, so they've been camping out in his mom's house, and after the asteroid hit, there is a plague or disease that's going around because of all the dust and debris in the air is causing people to get like sick and like die. So the mom died because of this disease, and the guy is next. They know that he is about to go, but there is a gang or like these bikers, these people, they have a name but I can't quite remember what it is. They come into their town and to their neighborhood, and they're like trying to get supplies and just scavenging and being like really brutal and hurting people. So the heroine and her boyfriend end up running to go to the boyfriend's father's cabin, but while they're running they get surrounded by these biker dudes. But out of nowhere this gunshot goes off and kills one of the bikers, and it's the boyfriend's dad who just came down to the town to see his kid and get his kid, and the boyfriend is like, I'm not leaving without her, which is the heroine. And they hop into his truck and they go to his cabin, and basically the hero is the boyfriend's dad, because the boyfriend does in fact die because he is sick, and it is their relationship, it is forced proximity, it is age gap, it is dead boyfriend's dad. Ooh, girl, it is so good. It's like forbidden. It's just this pining and this just it's so good. It's so angsty. It is one of my favorite ones besides the first book. Since the boyfriend dies and the heroine is left with the father, she really kind of doesn't have anywhere to go, and the father made a promise to his son that he would protect her, and he takes it very seriously, and they just kind of go through the motions day by day, hunting, cleaning, just kind of spending time together. It's giving very much like Grumpy Sunshine. The hero starts to have feelings for her and she starts to have feelings for him, but it's very complicated because they're just so isolated. So the hero doesn't think that the heroine really truly loves him. He also has this overwhelming guilt that he is having feelings for his dead son's girlfriend, and it's just so angsty, but it's so good. I also did think that the third act breakup was done very well. I do believe that it was kind of necessary. I didn't see it at the time because, you know, I wanted them to be together, but it was definitely necessary, and it just proved to both the hero and the heroine how much they belonged together. I just truly think if you guys pick up any of these books, I mean, if you're into age gap, boyfriend's dad kind of books, I think Embers is the one for you. It was just so hot. It was so good. All of these are super spicy, super steamy. I definitely recommend for you guys to read them. Definitely Embers and Haven are two of my faves, but Princess was also very, very good. After that, I picked up the Heart Song Duet by Jennifer Hartmann. I read An Optimist Guide to Heartbreak as well as A Pessimist Guide to Love. I did read these for a reading vlog, so I will link that up in the cards for you guys. I go into so much more detail in that reading vlog, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but I did give the first book 4 stars and the spice level was 1.5, and then I gave the second book 3 stars. Very disappointing, I know. It's so good though. It's really good. The spice for that one I gave it like a 2.5. So it was a good duet, and it showed me that I do like Jennifer Hartmann's writing, so I'm excited to try out other of her works. Then I did the novellathon, which I did do a reading vlog for, which I will link up in the cards for you guys to watch as well. That one was really fun to film and edit for you guys, and it was really fun just to read all of these novellas. So I will go over them quickly because if you guys want to hear more about it, you can watch that reading vlog. I did read Kiss It Better by Cassie, which I gave 3 stars. I read Cupid's Peak by Jacquot. I gave 4 stars. I read Evil Twin by Kati Wilde. I gave that one 4 stars. I really loved that one, as well as Cupid's Peak. I loved both of those. I think those were my top ones of that reading vlog. Then I read Sign Here for Horns, which I gave 3.5 stars. I really like that one as well. Then I read When the Farmer Met the City Girl by Jessa, and this one was a little unhinged, but I ate it up. I gave it 3 stars. It was a solid 3 stars. Usually I give Jessa like 2 stars because her novellas are kind of crazy, but that one was a really solid 3 stars. And then I read The Half-Orc's Maiden Bride. I gave that one 3 stars. Then I read Make Me Beg by Honesty Price. I gave that one 2.5, 3 stars. I read The Stranger by Cassie. This is one of her newest releases, and I really loved this one. I just felt like it was lacking in some parts, but I really loved the concept. It's very high society masquerade ball. The hero and the heroine like meet in private, but also trying to figure out who they are. It was really good. Then I read A Very Mountain Man Valentine's Day. This one I gave 3 stars. This one is an email back and forth relationship, and it is a scarred hero, and the heroine pulls up up on a red eye when he gives her his address so they can finally meet. Then I ended up reading also That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. This one is actually not in my reading vlog. This one I gave it 3.5 stars. I really loved it. It's a great mix between romance and fantasy. This one is between our heroine Cinnamon and our hero Fallon. So Fallon is a demon, and basically Cinnamon is drunk one night and she's going home and she runs into Fallon in this ditch because he was the reason why the world, the earth, a little bit shook while she was out drinking. But she like wrote it off to whatever it was, but he was there, and he is in this manic state when they first meet because he is under this spell by the goddess that the humans worship. But the humans obviously don't know this, but Cinnamon, she is from a cinnamon farm. They do spices. She is a spice seller, and she hits him with a whack of cinnamon, and the cinnamon wakes up and breaks the spell for Fallon. This book is really funny. I had so much fun reading this. I loved the fantasy elements. I loved all the plot twists. I loved the way that they went on this quest to save all the supernatural paranormal creatures from this goddess witch that was having them under her control. There was tension, the way that Fallon knew that Cinnamon was his mate, and Cinnamon was just such a badass, and she was down for the count. She was down to fight for what was right. And I love that along the way we get to meet so many side characters that go along with their journey. And there is steam as well. It was quite steamy. I was eating it up. I love Fallon and his dirty mouth. I love his powers. I love that he is just so obsessed with Cinnamon. Like, I'm so here for it. Like, I really am. Like, I'm so here for it. For the last book that I read for February, it was Take the Lead by Alexis Daria. This is actually an arc that I read. Honestly, I was so bad with this arc, y'all. I thought I had enough time, but then the time just kind of went away with other videos and other reading vlogs that I was trying to do and other books that I was trying to read, and it just kind of got away from me. But I still ended up giving this book 4.5 stars. It was really, really good. I will tell you guys why it didn't get a full 5 star here in a second. But basically, our hero Stone is a survivalist, but he is part of a TV show that he does with his family and his like 7 other siblings, and he needed to be a part of it or else there was going to be no show. So he gives up basically his normal life of being an engineer and like living on his own. And he is also from Alaska, obviously, and this is where he has this like survivalist TV show. So he's always on camera. He's always, you know, being watched. Like, there's no sense of privacy for him. Our heroine Gina, she is a choreographer slash dancer slash singer. Gina, she is a lot of things. She is part of this dance off show where it's giving very much Dancing with the Stars. That's what it is, except it's just a different name for the book, but basically same premise. She gets paired up to do this show, this dancing show with Stone. Stone does this dancing show because he is trying to win and get that prize money to help pay off debt, like student debt and medical debt. So he joins this dance off, but he can't really be his true self or speak about the TV show or his family because he has this secret that he just can't talk about it. And Gina, she is here to win it. That's all she wants. She wants to win the show. She's been on it for quite a few times. I've never won. She wants to win, and if she wins, it just opens up so many more doors for her. She's a boss ass bitch. She is in it to win it. She wants the success, and she's gonna get it any way that she can. What she doesn't account for is that Stone is a hot man, and that is her dancing partner. So there's a lot of forced proximity, workplace romance, a grumpy sunshine. Stone is very grumpy. He's the quiet, serious one. And just look at the cover. Just look at this cover. Like, it is just absolutely stunning. I loved it so much. I love the relationship. I loved how much they were so close in proximity. And to be honest, I had been looking for a book that has the dancing element, and this kind of gave me what I had been wanting. This one doesn't have bachata or merengue, but this one has salsa, and it has all different forms of dancing, and there are sexy dances that happen in here, y'all. And I was eating it up. It is also a slow burn that nothing really happens until the 50% mark, but just the build up, oh girl, I was eating it up. I love that Gina is Puerto Rican, and I loved that Stone was just so worshipful of Gina, and he went into this dance-off competition for his family, but it kind of turned into he was in it for Gina and helping her win. Gina has this one rule where she cannot get romantically involved with her partner or anybody that she works with because of past times where she kind of fucked up and it ended it badly for her. So she has one rule, but it's just hard because they are literally meant to be. There is the Club Picante scene. Y'all, the Club Picante scene, oh my god. And to say that this is, I believe, Alexis Daria's spiciest book that I've read by her. I haven't read You Had Me at Hola and A Lot Like Adios since like forever ago. I read that like in the beginning of my reading journey, so I'd have to do a reread and like see what it's giving now rather than what it was giving then. But I do believe this is her spiciest one, and I was shook because I also did not know that this was Alexis Daria's debut novel. She just re-released it because she like revised it, I believe, and she came out with a brand new cover for it, and it is just so good. It gave what it needs to give. I loved all the side characters. The only reason why this book did not get 5 stars for me is because I had to dock a little bit off of the third act breakup. I thought it could have been a good third act breakup done well. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of books shouldn't really have third act breakups. I think that they could have complications, but it shouldn't be like a full-on breakup. But anyways, that's another thing for another video. But the third act breakup, I feel like was a little bit too dramatic. Like, it really pissed Gina off, and I thought that Gina was a little bit too harsh, and I think that she was mad for a little bit too long, and it took some of those last couple of chapters, like those last couple of chapters kind of lost their luster because our couple was mad at each other. And then I also think that it was resolved rather quickly. So I just wish we could have had our couple have this argument, get back together, finish the TV show, and then like we could have had our epilogue. You know what I mean? So like I feel like the third act breakup kind of threw me off, but originally I had rated it 4 stars, but more thinking about it, I just honestly truly love this book, so I'm giving it a 4.5, but still rounding it down to a 4 star. It's not quite a 5 star. I can't really round it up to a 5 star. I really wish I could, but either way, I definitely think that you guys should read it. It is just so sexy and so emotional, and I love the way that the characters get to know each other. I love the spicy scenes. The one in front of the mirror. The one in front of the mirror, y'all. In Stone, he's just like a sweet alpha hero, but when he in the sheets, oh girl, I was eating it up. I loved it so much. Like, it gave what it needed to be gave, and I just can't wait to have that book in my hands because I will definitely be buying it because one, I want to support a Latinx author, and because I loved this book and I need to have it on my shelves. And I love this cover. The way that Alexis Daria does her covers, on point. I love to see it. I feel like all illustrated covers need to look like this. Just saying. I feel like the Take the Lead cover is a little bit different than You Had Me at Hola cover. Either one works for me. It was so good. Those are all the books that I read for the first half of February. Let me know what your top read so far in February is. I would love to know. If you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and comment the dancing girl emoji for Gina from Take the Lead. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.